200 hours of poker in the next 30 days. That's the challenge that I'm starting today. And if I don't do it, I'm gonna lose this cash right here. I'm betting $5,000 on myself. If I fail this challenge, I'm gonna be giving away $1,000 to 5 people who comment on this video. To give you some context, last month in September, I only played about 80 hours. I haven't put in tons of volume like most professionals do. That's about to change. This next 30 days is going to be an absolute grind, and I'm gonna document every single day. So, why am I doing this? In poker, it's very difficult to set achievable goals that you can control. You could say win $10,000 or win a WSOP bracelet, but you can work really hard and still not achieve those milestones. I want to focus on something that I can control. Focus on the process and let everything else fall into place. Also, I haven't really been the type to follow through with things when I say that I'm going to do them, so that's why I'm making this bet with myself. It's time to hold myself accountable. The new grind starts today. Let's go. Also, if you want to win the giveaway, if I lose this challenge, comment your favorite poker hand in the comments. Starting things off with a game I'm sure you're all familiar with at this point. 5, 10, 20 is what's on the menu for tonight. We're in for 2,500. Let's get into it. We have King Queen offsuit in the small blind. There's a limp for 20, and now the button raises to 100. We're playing the nit game, where once you win a hand, you receive a button, and the last person to win a button pays everybody else 50 bucks. We want to get our button, so we re-raise to 400. The action gets back around to the button. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He calls. The flop is ace 10-4 with 2 spades, and I start with a small bet of $225. This board is generally going to be pretty good for me, but we're going to have to do some more work to win this one because he sticks in the call. The turn is the 4 of diamonds. With 2 flush draws on the board, we just have king high and a gutter to the straight. I decide to slow down here and check. The button pretty quickly checks behind, so we do get to see a free river, and it's a good one. The jack of hearts, an offsuit jack, we hit the straight, and now it's time to put in a value bet, hoping to get called by some sort of top pair. I bet $750. This line can definitely look super bluffy, and he doesn't think too long before sticking in the call. We show and win a $2,600 pot to start off the night. Let's keep the good momentum going. Another side game that's on is the bounty game. If someone wins 3 hands in a row, everybody else pays them $100. So on the 3rd hand, they're quite incentivized to try to win with all the dead money in the middle. My friend Mo is on his 3rd hand, and I peel pocket jacks in the small blind, and everybody limps to me. I'm gonna make it massive because Mo is going to call a lot here. I make it $500. It might seem absurdly large, but if you play in this game, you know that it's very normal. But Mo does not call. He goes all in for $2,500. Everybody else folds, and of course I call a $5,000 pot, and we're up against ace jack. We're a massive favorite to win, and we're only running it once. We hold, and a big pot is coming our way. Let's go. We're 2 for 2 on the big ones so far. Unfortunately, though, after this, we lost a couple small pots and was super card dead for the next 2 hours. Very frustrating in a game like this with all the action and side games. We want to get in there. And then we finally look down at a very good hand. Pocket queens. This time there's a $50 straddle on, so I start by raising to 150. Now the button re-raises to 600. Everybody else folds, and now it's time for me to make a decision. We could either call, put in another raise, or go all in for about 4,300. If you think about this in big blinds, because of the straddle, we don't even have 100 to start the hand. We could 4-bet to something like 1,500, but that's over a third of our stack. I don't want to call because our hand is so strong, and I do want to put more money in now. So that leaves me with pretty much one option. All in. I ship my whole stack in there, and he calls very quickly. A little too quick for comfort, and he has aces. This is a nearly $9,000 pot, and we are way behind. We're going to need some major help to win this one, and we're going off to 2 runouts. Unfortunately, we can't improve in any way, and our stack gets sent all the way across the table. We add on for another $4,000. And now it's time to battle. We've lost the Nick game 1, 2, 3 different times tonight, totaling for about $1,400. Just can't get anything going. Supercard dead. We add on another $2,000 and then play this one. I'm in the $25 straddle with ace 3. Global Danny raises to $75. The button calls, and this might be a little loose, but I want to get in there. I call as well. The flop gives us 2 pair. It's ace queen 3 rainbow. I check and Danny bets 150. The button calls and I decide to just call here. Because Danny bet decently big into 2 players, it's a little bit scary. And I think when we check raise and a lot of the money starts going in, we're not going to be sure if we have the best hand or not. So let's slow this one down and see what happens. The turn comes a 5 of clubs. I check. And now Danny puts in a chunky bet of 700. The button gets out of the way, and this is what I mean. Now he seems to be representing a hand like ace queen, ace 5, pocket queens. I do believe he can make this bet with ace king. It's very reasonable. And of course, he'll have some bluffs as well. Our hand is too good to fold though, so I stick around for one more street at least. I call. The river isn't the best. It's a king. Now we're beat by ace king, which was a large part of his range we were previously beating. I check, and he goes into decision mode before jamming all in for $4,000. That's 2 times the size of the pot. This is a brutal spot. He bet the flop, he bet the turn, he bet the river. He's saying he has something very good. Danny is certainly capable of bluffing here, but I don't think he's gonna have airball bluffs here as much versus if it was a heads up pot. I decide in the end to fold my cards. Before you see what he has, comment if you think this was a good fold or not. As soon as I muck my cards, he smiles and says, "Sorry, Gil." And at that point, I already knew. 7 deuce. The holy grail of airball bluffs. Gotta give some props to Danny though, very well played. And I owe him another $50 for the bounty. This game is getting absolutely out of control. Not like I didn't expect it to, but we're doing a round of $200 straddles. This is incredible. We end up shoving $3,000 with ace 8 offsuit in the $100 straddle and just taking down the blinds. Just your average 5-10 that plays like 100, 200. A little while after that, I start winning some hands. We picked up a few small ones, and then we got our 3rd hand in a row for the bounty game. I put on the $50 straddle, and 5 people called 50. Gets back around to me, and I have pocket 3s. That's a pair. There's $1,100 in dead money out there, so that's good enough for me. I'm gonna be sending it in. I put in my $4,000 stack, and everybody folds. Let's go. We get the extra 100 from everyone, and the best part about the bounty game is that it keeps going. So now I'm on my 4th hand in a row. I call a raise pre-flop with 10-9 suited and flop the stone cold nuts. After I check raise the flop, they just folded, but still we get another 100 from everyone. I'm starting to like this bounty game. Overall, it was a pretty cold night, but it's nice to pick up those pots towards the end. We lost the Nick games more times than I want to say, and after 9 hours, we call it a night with a loss of $4,950. Ouch. Money-wise, not the greatest start to our challenge. Hours-wise, not bad. 9 hours. We have to play like 6.5 hours every day for 30 days to hit the goal. So starting it off with a 9-piece is good. Tonight was pretty frustrating. Started pretty well, and then we had the big hand with queens against aces, and then it was just downhill from there. I think we lost the Nick game 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. We were actually down like 8K at one point. Then we went on like that bounty game run. We'll take it. All right, Tuesday. It's 4 p.m. Cup of coffee, and we are gearing up to go play the Lucky Lady live stream. Yeah, let's bounce back from the chunky loss last night. I feel relatively good about it. Thought I played okay. We're gearing up. Gonna put in a chunky session tonight. Let's go. We bought into the game for $2,000. The blinds are 5-5 with the straddles on quite often. Early on, we get ace-king pre-flop, all in for $800 each against Aquila, aka the Queen of LA. She's a well-known player here at Lucky Lady, but this time she scoops us with king-queen after hitting a queen on both runouts. Yikes. Not the best way to start a session, but we add another 1,000 to our stack, and then play this one with ace-jack. Popular poker vlogger Gary Blackwood is playing in this game, which is cool. He's on his 4th hand in a row, and if he wins, everyone owes him 100. There's 2 limps, and I limp with my ace-jack. I think playing a trap-heavy strategy works pretty well with the bounty game. Unfortunately, everyone else just limps too, and we see a flop of jack 10-3 rainbow. It checks to me. I have top pair, top kicker. I'm gonna bet. I make it 50. 3 people call, and then Z to my right raises to 300. I still think my top pair, top kicker is good here. There's plenty of draws that we can be ahead of, and maybe he even raises a worse hand like king jack. I call. The big blind calls as well, so we're 3 ways to a turn, which is a 7. Now both of them check to me. I think if Z had 2 pair or better, he'd probably want to bet again. So given his line, I think it's more likely he has something like king queen or queen 9, maybe just top pair that wants to slow down. I decide to put out a bet for value and protection of 500. The big blind folds, and now Z tanks for a little while before making his decision on calling. The river is the 9 of spades, a really unfortunate river. We're beat by so many hands now, and I'm pretty happy to see when he checks. I'm just gonna take this one to showdown and hope for the best. I check, and he shows us that we are no good against pocket queens. So we are both trying to trap Gary pre-flop, but Z takes this one down. Nice hand. It's a fun lineup tonight. The games at Lucky Lady are always a blast. We're struggling to get anything going. We lose $800 in a multi-way 3-bet pot with king queen, after we flop a gut shot and just get priced in to continue. Then Aquila open jams for 550, and we send it in with king jack. This might seem crazy, but I'm always happy to give some action to the queen of LA. Unfortunately, she gets us again, and scoops both boards with ace queen. We lose $1,000 in a PLO bomb pot after getting rivered on the board where we have the nuts, and yeah, things are not going well for us tonight. We're in the game for $6,000 and stuck about 4,000, so not your typical 5-5 game, but we still have a long game ahead of us. We're gonna continue to battle and turn things around. No better way to do that than picking up aces. There's a $20 straddle, and Z in the small blind makes it 110. I re-raise to 350, and it folds back around to Z. I want to play a big one and get unstuck, or at least, less unstuck than what I already am. So I'm praying for him to call, but even better, he puts in another raise. He makes it 750. Now, I could go all in, but if I call, nearly a third of my stack will be in the middle. If he's 4-bet bluffing, then I want to keep him around to dust the rest of his chips off. If he has a really strong hand, we're probably just going to get the money in anyway. So I call. The flop comes 10-8-8 rainbow, a perfect board. He bets small for 300, and again, I just call. The turn is a 5, and he continues betting, again for a very small sizing of 500. My hand needs 0 protection. For the same reasons that I stated earlier, I'm going to keep trapping him. I call again. With $3,000 in the middle, I only have like 800 left. The river's another 5, and I'm just waiting for him to say the words, all in. I snap call him, show him my aces, and he looks devastated as he turns over pocket kings. What a cooler. What a cooler. I guess it didn't really matter how we played that one because all the money was going in anyway, and we're on the right side of the most classic cooler in poker. That certainly will give us some momentum. Let's keep the foot on the gas. Gazzy B is in the $20 straddle, and I have ace-8 offsuit in the $10 straddle. When it folds to me, I make it 100. I'm raising a little bit bigger because if I win this hand, everyone's gonna owe me $25 for the bounty game. He calls though, and the flop is 8-3 deuce rainbow. Pretty great board for our hand, but I start with a check, and he stabs for $65. Top pair, top kicker is good enough for a check raise in my book, so I bump it up to $225. Gazzy is a very talented player, and I've been waiting to play a big one with him to get in his vlog. Apparently, he wants to get in my vlog too because he calls. Turn is a jack. Yes, it's an overcard to our 8, but it shouldn't change anything about this hand, except for some unlikely 2-pair combos. I want to keep betting because I think he's going to call with worse. I throw out $500. My confidence is high about my hand being good, even when he sticks in the call. The river is now a king. I do think my hand is going to be good here a large amount of the time, but I find it hard to think I'm going to get called by worse if I bet. So I check. And now Gazzy takes his time deciding whether to bet or check. And then he looks at the dealer and says all in. And ships his $3,000 stack in the middle. What is going on here? Did he flop a set? Did he turn a river 2-pair? This is a very weird spot. I know that Gazzy is more than capable of finding bluffs here. That's what makes him such a tough opponent to play against. But I also think that we're just going to have so many better hands to pay him off here. I did think about this one for quite a while and was pretty close to putting in the call, but I ultimately decided to fold. And at Lucky Lady, you're required to show your cards due to the live stream, so we do get to see what he had. He turns over King 3 of diamonds for 2-pair. He binked the king on the river, but I'm glad we made the right fold. Nonetheless, nice hand, Gazzy. It's about 2:30 a.m. and the game is 4-handed. It's me and the Lucky Lady regulars. Psycho, Welcome, Matt, and Alex. Matt on the button calls 10, and Psycho in the small blind makes it 50. I have queen 10, I come along, and Matt does too. 3 ways to a flop, which is ace jack 9 rainbow. We flop an open-ended straight draw, which is pretty good. Psycho now continues betting for 50, and I'm the only one that proceeds with a call. The turn is Jin. It's an 8. Now she bets 120. She has about $2,000 total, so I need to figure out how to get as much money in as possible. And I think the best route to do that is to raise now. I make it 400. I'm hoping her hand is strong enough to continue here, and I guess it is because she calls. The river is a brick. We still have the nuts. When she checks, I want to go for it all against a set, 2 pair, or maybe just a non-believing top pair. If she calls, I will be finally unstuck in this game. I ponder for a moment before shoving all in for 1,600 effective, and it doesn't take her long to call. We table our hand and scoop this $4,200 pot against ace 9. Another cooler that goes our way, and we are finally in the green tonight. I did not think that was going to happen, but we ran good in some big pots. We play a little bit longer before we flip for the last of Matt's $400 stack. We oblige and end up winning the flip. The game breaks not too long after. We head to the cage to secure a profit of $1,770. This one feels good. What a session. We won $1,770 in 7.8 hours. We were in for a lot. Things were looking pretty grim. We got lucky in a couple spots and came out with a profit. I'm excited for this challenge, mainly just because this challenge is about focusing on the process, focusing on getting the hours in. There's gonna be, a fair amount of ups and downs. But yeah, fun session. Lucky Ladies, literally, it might be my favorite spot now in LA. Just the people, the vibes, everything at that place is amazing. Back on the grind tomorrow. We're going to Hustler. We're at Hustler Casino. Let's focus on playing well and taking it one hand at a time. It's gonna be tough down the stretch. I already know it. I've never been a big volume guy. Showing up to Hustler tonight, we walk in and see a bunch of our friends, Richard, Ray, and Justin. Tomorrow's Ray's birthday, so Richard and I play red or black for a bucket of beers. I have black, and that's what the flop comes, so the first round is on Richard. While we wait for the 5-5-10 table, we make $34 playing 2-5 in 25 minutes. And then we make $190 playing 5-5 for a half hour. Some small profit while we wait for the 5-5-10. And then we do get moved over there. And there's some more friends over there too. Danny shows up. We have a packed house. This is going to be a fun table. We're in the middle blind with ace 3 of diamonds. The cutoff raises to 60. I call and the straddles call as well. The flop comes 8-5-4 with 2 hearts, and we just have a gut shot to the worst straight on the board. So I check, but everybody checks around. We do get to see a free turn, the deuce of clubs. We turn the wheel, and with 3 players behind me, I'm gonna get sneaky here and check. Now Richard in the straddle bets $100. Folds around to me, and of course we're gonna be raising here. There's 2 flush draws on board. I'm gonna have to charge him for that, folks. I make it 400, hoping to see a clean river if he calls, and then we can go all in and hopefully double up. That would be sick. Richard thinks for a little bit before deciding to get all the money in now. He jams, covering me for 1,500. I quickly call, tell him that I have a straight. The river comes the 8 of diamonds, and he says that we're good. He said he had 2 pair. We get an early double up against our friend, but don't worry, the next round is on me. As I'm collecting all of my chips, in the very next hand, we peel pocket jacks in the small blind. Danny puts on the $40 straddle for this one, so I start things off by raising to 120, and Danny is the only one to call. The flop comes 7-4-4 with 2 spades. Now on this board, I'm gonna be doing a fair amount of checking, and mixing in the overpairs is pretty important. So I start with a check, and he bets 100. Again, I think a lot of our overpairs are gonna be indifferent between calling and raising on the flop here, but I decided to take the aggressive route and raise to 350. With the straddle on, we started the hand at like 70 big blinds or something, so I don't think it would be bad to get all the money in here with an overpair. Danny does eventually decide to call, and the turn is unbelievable. It's a jack. So now if he does have a 4, it's gonna be a massive cooler. Now I'm thinking about what size to bet, and I decide on $0. I check. Setting the trap here with top boat. We can't always bet the nuts here. I would play this similarly if I had some bluffs on the flop that I check raised with. The action is now on Danny, and he counts out a bet of 600. He has roughly 1,600 left in his stack. If he's bluffing here, of course we want to keep him in. If he has a 4, he's going to shove the river anyway. And it's hard to imagine that he would call off an all-in with anything worse than a 4 here. So I just call the 600. The river is the deuce of diamonds. the brick of all bricks. I check, and Danny is a skilled player, who I know is going to find bluffs in this spot. But bluff or not, we're going to win this huge pot. Just praying for him to put out a bet. And sure enough, he just goes all in for 1,600. I snap him off with top boat, and it turns out it was a huge cooler, because he turns over ace-4 of clubs. We got lucky on the turn again, and we're scooping a 5K pot. Let's go. How good do we run, man? We're sitting with 6K in our stack, and it only takes one orbit before we play the hand of the night. Danny puts on the $80 straddle, so this one's gonna get big. Justin open jams for 1,400. It's not even 20 big blinds. I look down at pocket nines in the small blind. I have a good pair. I'm gonna go with it. Everyone else at the table has about $1,500, and I cover everyone, so I go all in. And the action gets to Richard, and he calls. That's probably not great for us, but that's not it. Ray, to his left, also calls. This is a four-way all-in, and I assume that we're gonna need to hit a 9 here. I don't know what's going on, but then the cards get revealed. We're up against Richard's ace-queen, Ray has ace-king, and Justin has king-queen. Oh my god. We just have to hold for this $6,000 pot, and we're gonna sweat a run out one time. Come on.
King. Deuce.
Wow.
More aces. Oh, dead. So that's not this.
Gil, bro.
Yo, bro.
We hold. We are on an absolute sun run right now. You cannot make this up. Look at all those chips coming my way. It took me like 10 minutes to sort all that out and stack them all up. Best 10 minutes of my life. We have over $10,000 in our stack now, but I still got some big hands to show you guys. We're in the $20 straddle with Jack 6 of diamonds. A player in early position raises to 60, and I call. The flop is ace 6-6 with 2 hearts. When I tell you we're on a heater, guys, we are on a heater. I check, he bets 80, and I'm raising this one up because I always have it, and I like putting more money in. I make it 250, and the guy snap calls us. It's pretty likely that he just has an ace here. The turn is an offsuit 10, and I'm going to keep betting. He started the hand about $3,000 deep, and I want to try to get a lot of that. So I bet 400, and again, he nearly snap calls me. At this point, I'm fairly confident that he has something like ace-king or ace-queen. Praying for a brick on the river, and we do get one. It's the 8 of spades. I think if I go all in, he's gonna start hero folding those hands, so I don't want to get too greedy here. I just put out a bet of 1,200, close to the size of the pot, and after a few seconds, he calls. We show our trips, and sure enough, he just shows us ace-king. We're running so pure tonight, we scoop another massive pot. We played a few 3-bet pots with ace-king after this, and we lost them. Okay, I run so bad in this game, I can't even, just kidding. I can't complain. Then the run good hits us again. We turn a set of 9s in a 3-bet pot and stack someone. We won $1,000 from that. And around 2:30 a.m., we rack up our chips and secure the massive win of $10,000. 5 figures, folks. That's one of the craziest runs I've ever experienced. So, in the first 3 days of this challenge, we have won $7,044, logging 23.3 hours of poker. Pretty great start for the first 3 days. We're gonna really put our head down and grind, focusing on the process and just getting better every single day. I'm gonna be posting each part of this challenge once per week. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.